Let's go. I really got the feeling today that everything is going my way. Now this is what I'm talking about. Every time I see your smile, it makes me shout. Let's go! Let's go! Nothing's gonna stop us today. Get on the bus or get out the way. We're cruising with the radio on. So turn it up to 10. Here comes our favorite song. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Hello and welcome to another episode of IoT Tuesday. I'm yours truly, Samuel Adrani. We are back from a long break, I must say, a couple of weeks. I think two or 3 weeks. I think it's 2 weeks. Yeah, we have not we couldn't stream for those 2 weeks due to some technical issues I was having with my ISP and all that. We still have the issues. I just told myself, well, you know what, I have to try to do it because I don't want to. I want to be consistent and keep it going. So we are back. Thank you for all those who checked up to find out what's happening. Yeah, we're just having a few issues, and to as a countermeasure, I'm working on getting a second ISP that might be dedicated fully to running the stream. With that said, there's a lot coming. In the past couple of months, we've been working on the home environmental system. We built almost all the components, all the sides of it that allowed you to, build a system. In the very final piece, I was going to show you Azure Iot Central, which is a service from Microsoft Azure that actually allows you to kind of like IoT as a service. Just go and create your apps, create your templates, connect a device, create a template and all that, create alert rules and all that. Now, this is all packaged in one. As compared to what we're doing with IoT Hub. Now, we had to create our own IoT Hub, we had to add our own devices, we had to create our own route, endpoints, and all that. For Azure IoT Central, this is like all done for you in one package, and all you need to do is spin it up and it creates all the necessary services. Now, this is what I want to do. In the very last episode of IoT Tuesday, I talked about the Azure IoT certification that came out. So I'm thinking in the next couple of episodes, we're going to dedicate it to Azure IoT Hub, or technically, let me bring this in view so we can talk more about it. So in the next couple of episodes, I want to do something here. So this is what I want to do. I want us to go over developing IoT solutions with Azure IoT learning path. I want us to go over this learning path. So which means it's a total of 2 hours, so to speak. So what I want us to do is that I would want us to take it step by step. It's just a way I'm trying to encourage you guys to pay attention to Microsoft Learn and see how we can walk through this and build a solution together. So it's a total of 2.5 hours. No, 2 hours, it's almost 3 hours. So what we're going to do is, so this looks like we can run this for three episodes. So we're going to try to time ourselves 1 hour. So in today's episode, we're talking about creating your first Azure IoT Central app. That's what we're going to do. And then maybe next episode we'll look at how to set up rules, taking actions and telemetry. And then the final one we'll look at manage IoT Central. So uh, this is my new approach in aligning you to what you can find on Microsoft Learn. Now, that's not to say that we are not going to do any project. We have projects we're going to do, but I want to take this next 3 episodes to walk us through this learning part so you can see how it works, what's entailed, and then from there we can continue to build on a solution. Now, to the other thing, let's go to my workbench. My workbench looks very, very, very messed up today. So I have a couple of boards. For some time now, I have been using the Raspberry Pi here. which all of you are probably aware of. Obviously, the Raspberry Pi. We have a few of them here, the ESP and all that. Now, if you look closely, you have a lineup of this is the MX chip. I'm sure with IoT Central, they might probably be using the MX chip or the Raspberry Pi. I have not set this Pi up, so maybe we'll see how to. I've set a Pi up in subsequent episodes, so if you haven't seen it, go check that out. There's also the Azure Sphere. This is from and this is from Seed Studio, and this is from Avent. It's also an Azure Sphere. And then we have, a Raspberry Pi, a smaller version of the Raspberry Pi here. I have other boards. Now, what I want to do is that um, I want I want to create a project whereby we can pick one of the boards. We'll pick one of the IoT boards and then work with it. So I'm trying to create a series based on specific boards. All right. So let's say if we pick the Raspberry Pi, let's see some of the things we can do with the Raspberry Pi. Okay. And then so for a number of episodes we can do that. However, if you remember when we started the stream, we had options to pick from. With the home environmental monitoring was the first one, and now I think it is time for us to now take a look at the subsequent project, which was, I think there was a drinking boat, and then there was a smart gardening project. But this is what I want to do. Please, in the comments, just put in the comments what other projects do you want me to do on the show, one. And then also, if you have any specific IoT board or solution you want to see me create, just add it in the comment section, and then I'll do that. And don't forget, if it's your first time, please, 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 please click on the subscribe button and hit the bell so that when I upload new videos, you're going to see it. So let's get this baby rocking. So we're going to start with, let's go back here. We're going to start with developing IoT solutions with Azure Iot Central. That's what we're going to be doing. So today's episode, we're going to start with the very first module, which is create your first IoT Central app. So please work with me. It might seem there's a couple of reading, but then I just want to use 3 episodes of my show to highlight this so that we walk through this process. But in the background, if you have any questions or any specific project or board you want to see me unbox or show how to set up, I will do that. A couple of things that interest me is the Azure Sphere APIs, REST APIs, and then the embedded SDKs, SDKs for Microsoft IoT apps. I'm interested in that, so probably we'll see that. And some of them might come as blog posts or articles or just one of recordings that I drop on my channel and my post. So just keep that posted. Okay, awesome. Let's get right into it. So let me make this a bit big so you guys can see. Hopefully this is big enough. If it's not, just prompt me and then we can get this. So the first thing, so it's a learning part. So if you start to use Microsoft Learning or Microsoft Learn, you realize that we have modules and learning paths. Now, learning paths constitutes multiple modules that lead you to probably to a particular certification or a particular learning strategy. So this particular project is a learning path. Now, if you want to find more, just go to docs.microsoft.com/learn, and then here. So what I did, let's try IoT. Let's see what we have for IoT. Let's search for IoT. And there you can look, you can see this. So here we have modules, Microsoft Azure IoT strategy and solution. This is a module. We have introduction to Azure IoT Hub. We've seen a lot of the hub. So there is introduction to Azure IoT. So this is a learning part. And then we have learn how to manage IT devices as an IT admin. Now, if you want to do the certification, all right, what's going to happen is that it points you to some topics here in the Microsoft Learn. So you see remote monitoring, there's a lot, there's a learning part, secure IoT devices, and you can see some of them, building intelligent edge. So there are a lot of learning paths that you're looking for. You can also use the filters, whether you are looking for a learning path or a module. Let's go for learning paths. Let's see what they have. So in terms of a learning path, we have this. So introduction to IoT, secure connected devices to the cloud. So for just the sakes of, so we're actually doing the developing a solution with Azure Iot Central. That's all we are concerned about. And maybe I think we can look at building the intelligent edge with IoT, with Azure IoT Edge. That might be something we can look at. You know what? Let's open them. I'm curious to see what we have. Let's look at the introduction. So that's 5 hours. So that means that if we were to do this, it would It will take us like 5 sessions, it's like a month. I think we should do that. We should come back to this and pick it up. So if you look at this, so it consists of what it means to be, enable data transmission with IoT. We're going to do something from like strategy, connecting devices, IoT hub, messages and communication. And then look at this, learn how to build IoT solutions with IoT Central. So what happens is that this becomes part of so if you look at this, we can just extend this. Can extend this introduction to you saw this as a module, and then you can see creating. So you see this, creating your first Azure Iot Central. So the good thing about this is that sometimes, depending on the learning part you do, you would have been exposed to different aspects of IoT, which will be a module in another one. So do we just go to do the introduction to Azure IoT? Let's just stick to, because we've seen the IoT hub, we've seen this. Let's stick to it, and then maybe from we can commission a new project to look into introduction to Azure IoT as a complete episode on its own, so that we know that we can do that for like a whole month, and then we should be fine. All right. Okay. Awesome. So, and then there's also build intelligent edge. You can see this one gives us learning about intelligent and how to deploy pre-built modules to the edge. This also seems interesting. Yeah, some machine learning stuff. That's cool. Awesome. And then here we are, the learning path for developing IoT solutions with Azure IoT Central. And like I mentioned, like I said, I'm picking IoT Central because we've seen IoT Hub, we've seen a lot of services, and then I just want to end our home environmental monitoring system project with IoT Central. That is why we're doing this. After this, we can revisit, other projects and then do them on the stream. All right. So let's close this. And let's get now. The good thing is that as you're using Microsoft Learn, you accrue points and levels. As of now, I have 8,900. I'm trying, working my way. All right, so let's go. Let's get started with this. So there we go. So as part of the learning objective, so IoT Central, we're going to see how to easily monitor and manage fleet of remote devices. And so Azure IoT Central actually, it's like I mentioned, is a bundle of all the IoT services on Azure. Okay, so things like IoT Hub, device provisioning services, Azure Maps, time series insights, Azure IoT Edge. So all these things, all these services have been bundled together, all right, to create the Azure IoT Central. That's more like IoT as a service. So just pick your devices, create your template, and then you move on. All right. So in this model, this is what we're going to do. We're going to create an Azure IoT custom app using the Central portal, IoT Central portal. We're going to create a device template for custom device. So what device template we'll get to see is that if you have IoT solutions that you want to deploy, let's give an example. Let's say air conditioners, smart air conditioners. You're in the business of deploying smart air conditioners and you want to remotely manage them. So what you first do is that you have to create what we call a device template. So the device template will be let's say in our case, let's say an air conditioning. So for the air conditioning, the device template will include what metadata are you assigning to those air conditionings? What data are you collecting from the air conditioning? Is it what other information you're collecting from that air conditioning, and then also what commands, what rules. So these constitute a template. Now, once you've defined the template, what happens is that once you've defined the template, automatically now you can easily just connect or bring up online other smart air conditioners, and you don't have to repeat the same process. Thanks to device provisioning services, you can just connect the air conditioning onto the grid or onto the internet, or however you're deploying it, and then that air conditioning will be provisioned with the key security, and then it will be available on your IoT Central portal for control, monitoring, and then configuration. All right. So, and then also we'll create a programming project to simulate a refrigerated truck with routes selected by Azure Maps using Visual Studio Code and then Visual Studio. So as you can see, this is getting interesting. All right. So we're going to simulate a refrigerated truck. Now, this is a simulation, but you could replace it with the actual refrigerated truck by putting sensors on the vehicle and then sending those data point to IoT Central. So we're going to make that, and then we're going to allow it to send us to use Azure Maps. This is another service in IoT, Azure IoT, to select, the best route. And think about this as an example of if you're in the business of delivery, all right, and let's say you are restocking vending machines, soft drinks or juices vending machine, right? You can use Azure IoT Central and then its corresponding services, Azure IoT Map, determine and know that okay, this particular vending machine has a lower, amount of drinks in it, and per your route, it might make sense for you to go top that one up before you move to another one. So check that out. All right, awesome. And then monitor and command the simulated devices from IoT Central dashboard. So that is what we're going to be doing in this episode or this module. So in the next, hopefully this one says it's about an hour. So hopefully we're going to go through this. So prerequisite for this, uh, an introduction of the purpose of Azure IoT. If you've been watching this channel, you know this already. Ability to navigate the Azure IoT portal. This also has been achieved. Ability to use Node or C# at the beginner level. Yes, we've been using Node for our Raspberry Pi project, so we should be good. Experience using Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code. I mean, we've been using this, so we're okay. And must have or can open an Azure Maps account. I think we already have an Azure account, so we should be able to do that. Okay, so awesome. Let's get this started. All right. So let's look at the scenario. This is what we're going to do. So suppose you run a company that operates a fleet of refrigerated trucks. All right. You have a number of customers within a city, and based on that, you operate from. You command each truck to take its content and deliver it to any one customer. However, the cooling system may fail on any of your trucks, and if the content does not start to melt, you need an option of instructing the truck to return to base and then dump the content. Alternatively, you can deliver the content to another customer who might be nearer the truck when you become aware of the content when the content are melting. Good. In order to make these decisions, you need an up-to-date picture of all that is going on with your truck. And here we're using truck to represent the IoT device. All right. So we're going to simulate the truck, but in actual sense, I can use the same thing and replace it with maybe one of these, things devices I have here. All right. Or it could be a smart air conditioning deployment and all that. Now, you need to know the location of each track on the map, the state of the cooling system, and the state of the content, right? IoT Central provides you all you need to handle this scenario. Now, so in the following image, the colored circles show the location of the track on its way to the customer. So as you can see here using Azure Maps, you can see it's pointing, it's using mapping the route of that um, and here you can see this is the content temperature, this is the state of the content, the track state and route. So let's go ahead. As you can see in this module, you build the app displayed in above image. So the first thing we need to do is we are supposed to create an Azure IoT Central. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this to my other screen. And then I'm just going to bring. Welcome, people. Welcome to the stream. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. If you have any specific IoT topic or any IoT project you want me to work on, please drop it in the chat and then I'll try as much as possible to make that happen. Awesome. So let's go ahead. Um, let's go and open. Let's go to apps.azureiotcentral.com. I'm going to share that. And hey, if you don't have an Azure account, hey, you can create a free Azure account that gives you access to a lot of services for free. So this here is the Azure IoT account portal. As you can see, you get connected, stay connected, transform. So here's the IoT Central, allows you to monitor and control devices, device gateway, IoT edge. You can pass data onto Power BI, Power Apps, web and mobile applications. Benga, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for joining. If you have any questions, just drop it in there. So we're talking about IoT Central. We're going to be building a solution that allows you to track your refrigerated trucks and then use Azure Maps to determine what best route they need to take. That's what we're using. So this is IoT Central's dashboard, and you have options like for government, templates, energy, and all that. All right, so let's go up. and let's go here to build, right? So we can go to build, and have I signed in? I have not signed in. Let me see if I use my let me see if I can use my Outlook account. Usually it's, let's see, there's login. I think I have some apps in my org account, but I doubt. Yeah, let's see if I have apps here. No, good. So let's go here. So first of all, I'm going to click on build. All right. So let me take this out of the way, out of the way, out of the way. No, that's fine. We're good. So, and then what we're going to do is that, so what you're seeing here are template apps. I'm going to try to walk you through the process. These are template apps. So if you wanted to build something for retail, connected logistics, distributed digital distribution center, in-store analytics checkout, smart inventory management, micro fulfillment center. You can easily click on create app, and this will scaffold a template application for you. So what you do then is that you just go and modify it, and you have your IoT app running. Okay, but in this case, we want to build our own because it's if you have if you want to just get started quickly, you can pick any of the sections. Energy, so smart meter monitoring, it's here. Solar panel monitoring, it's here. We just pick create app, and then it scaffolds based on this template for you. So what we're also trying to create is a template like this that we can reuse for subsequent deployment. And in terms of government retails, so connected waste management. I hope you're seeing this. Yeah, there's the connected waste management, water consumption monitoring, water quality monitoring. So these are all template apps under government. So let's say you're building an IoT solution to check for water consumption monitoring and all that. And then healthcare, continuous patient monitoring. So these are all templates. Now, I think I missed something. Oh, no, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. Well, I need to do this. So the recently ended Microsoft hackathon, there's a Microsoft Open Hackathon, online hackathon just ended. And one of the team that won the top spot, Easy Gas. Congratulations, Clement and the team. You did an amazing, amazing, amazing job. I had it at the back of my mind, like I was going to congratulate you guys. Good job on winning the hackathon. It's time, to take that to production. And if you follow them, you realize that they also use IoT Central. So just big ups, guys. All right. So let's get back. Let's get back to it. All right. So in this case, we're going to create a custom application. So I'm going to click on custom app. It tries to create a custom name for you, but I don't want that. So let's call this one refrigerated trucks. That's what I want to call it, and then it gives a friendly URL. So it's going to be refrigerated tracks azure.iotcentral.com. So we because this, I'm sure that this is a template, people have probably used it. So I can say refrigerated tracks. Let me add Ghana to it. All right, so that or let me call this logic refrigerated tracks. All right, so this is unique because the name has to be unique, right? So we have this going on, and so this is a custom. So the template is a custom application. So ideally, once we create our own template, we can add them to it. So now, if you take a look at this, so this is the price. All right, try it for 7 days with um with no commitment, and then standard where you can for devices sending a few messages per hour, two free devices, 5,000 messages a month, and you can go for 30,000, blah blah blah. Now for now, we just need to do a trial, so we can go ahead and click the free 7 days for five free devices. That's enough for us for this project. Now, however, what we can also do is that we could, if we're going to continue with the project, we could select this, but that comes at a cost. But for now, for the sake of this session, let's just select free, and then we can move on. Okay, so let's see the contact information. Yeah, fill that out. It's asking for my country or region. Let's see. Boop, boop, boop. Let's fill this up. build app, and the number. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I like to do this. That's fine. Okay, and then you click on create. So quite simple. It spins off, goes ahead to create or provisioning. So what's happening is that here it is provisioning IoT Hub, device provision services, all the other services, that we would have done if we were manually creating this. Like would have created IoT Hub, created all the other device provision services, all the auxiliary services, we would have created them. But this process creates all that for you. All right. So now we're taking to the dashboard. So this is a dashboard for our app or our project. Now we're going to see. We're going to visit the Azure Central page, and then we're going to select our app, and then we should see the app again. All right. So let's go here. Let me go back here. Let's enter this. And then if I go to my app, you should see the app here. All right. So there's the app. All right. So this is the app. All right. So now let's go ahead and specify. Let's go to our app and start to build. It's the same thing that we've seen. It's just same thing here, but just showing you how to get to it. All right. So now let's go ahead. The next thing we're going to do is now we're going to try to create a device template. All right. So like I mentioned, the device template is what allow us to establish or create the metadata for the device. So in this case, ours is a refrigerated truck. So the data communication between the track or the device and Iot Central is what the device template is going to define. All right. So it encapsulates like all the details, all the data, everything that we need to collect from the sensors on the vehicle and pass to IoT Central. All right. So within the IoT portal, let's go and then let's click here. Let's go to device template. Okay, here. So this is a device template we're going to create. And then we're going to create a new device template. So we click here. I don't know if this is legible enough, but yeah. Yep. So we're going to see, you'll see a range of IoT, the template options. So we're looking for IoT device. So in our case, an IoT device. Now, if you're doing an edge, right, an edge device would have picked this. So here, this is what I was telling you, that these are device templates that have been created. So for instance, you can see here there's a flick button device, and if you don't know what the flick button is, you are in luck. I have one here. So you can see Azure Sphere. This is the Azure Sphere. As you can see from here, this is one of it. And then this is a flick button. So a flick button is from Smart Labs. So this button has 3 states. This is one I use for my IoT and beer project, where anytime I pick beer from the fridge, I click this and it counts the beer. So at the end of the day, it can actually request for more beer or tell me how much beer I have taken. So yeah, and then these are other devices. So these are templates, and you can see the I think the edge devices as well. All right, all the edge devices here. Pretty cool edge devices. So the deal here is that with all these templates, if I click the Azure Sphere sample template, it is going to bring the Azure, it's going to connect the Azure Sphere. This is a predefined one. So for this sphere, it has some onboard LEDs and stuff like that. So I can create a template with this, but I'm not using the Azure Sphere. We're just trying to create a simulated one for a refrigerated truck. So I'm just going to go ahead and click the IoT device, right? And then I'm just going to click next to customize it. So in here, we will just give it the name. So we'll call this one. I'll just call this logic rem logic refrigerated track. That's the name of the template. It's not a gateway device, so I'll select it. I just go ahead and click review. So it's an IoT device. As you can see, that's a template name, and then I can click on create. Welcome you guys joining us from Twitch, from Mixer, from Facebook, from all the other places. It's good to see you. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them. And if you have any particular thing on IoT that you want to see me talk about or do, kindly send that to me. All right, and then I'll try as much as possible to answer that for you. All right. Oh, let's get this going. Awesome. Okay, so now what we're going to do is now to create we're going to create the capability model. All right, so the capability model just tells us what is the capabilities of this IoT device. In our case, what are the capabilities of our refrigerated tracks? Does it send content, temperature? Does it send the track GPS coordinates? Those will be capabilities. All right, so let's click on custom. Since we are not importing any module, we want to create the model ourselves from scratch. So we click it, and then we have this view. All right, so here, this is where we're going to try to create the interface. We're going to create all that we need. Okay, so we are going to create the interface for it. So let's go ahead and add an interface, which is what we're going to um, get. So in terms of the interface, you realize that we have a custom interface. We can also import an interface, and we have device information, we have model definition, and there's a model information. All right. But here, remember, we are building from scratch. So we're going to add the custom interface. And there we go. So now we are ready to start to add the set of capabilities for our IoT device. All right. So let's go ahead. Now we're going to first of all, let's add sensor telemetry. Okay. So I'll go here, and then I'll click on add capability. Okay. So the display name. So this time we're not trying to collect sensor information from our device. So that this one we'll call it let's call this content temperature. So I get this correctly. Hopefully it is let's see. Hopefully this is legible enough for you to see. So here this is content temperature. As you can see, the name is contents temperature. It is a capability type of a telemetry. It's not a command. All right. So you can have a capability type of a property, a command, and a telemetry. So a telemetry is something you are collecting from the sensor. A command is something that your device can respond to when you send to it. And then a property is something that is like a metadata from your device. So property could be the firmware version running on that device, or in this case, the track. All right. So this is a telemetry. And then the semantic type. The semantic type is like look at it as a data type. Okay, if you're doing programming, you say that what's the data type of this capability. So this is a temperature semantic. So you know that you are receiving temperature. All right. Let's see. And then where's that? So the unit is degrees Celsius. All right. So we should have something like this. So this is a schema for it. If there's any display in it or comments, we can do that. All right. So the same thing. So once we're done, so we're going to add a state capability. So now we have let's see. There's something that keeps trapping us, which is not saving when you add it. So we have something like this. So let's go ahead and add the state telemetry. So let's go ahead and add the next capability. So how do we call it? So this one is going to be called content. So let's do content state. So content state is what state is the content in the refrigerator track? Is it good, bad, melted? That's something. So here you have to plan to know what telemetry you are sending to IoT Central for your for the use of your system. Okay, this is also a telemetry, and this here, it is a type of a state. All right, it's a state. Now, the state values, all right, so here it is of a string type. All right, and then we can just it doesn't have any, let's add an empty. So here, let's see, empty. What should we have? Let's do this. This is an empty for one, so the content is empty. So this should be okay, and then let's add another state, because the state, we want to know the state of the content. So we have first one is empty. Um, okay, and let's make sure that both the name, the display name, the value, and the name itself should be, and then let's add one. The next state we want to track, all right, is full. Okay, right? So the state should be, so now either the track is full, the track is empty, the content is empty, the content of the track is full. And then the last one, we can add melting. And here, so which means we have like, so the the track can have three states, all right? For the content state, it can be empty, the track can be empty, it can be full, or the content of the track can be melting. All right, this is the state. So that's the schema for it. All right, cool. So with this done, let's make sure we have now. Let's add some uncertainty to our simulations. All right, so let's add some failure state for the cooling system. So again, let's go ahead. Let's see. So let's go ahead down here and let's add capabilities again. And this time we're going to call it cooling system state. So cooling system state. So this tells us the state of the cooling system in the vehicle. So here I'm adding capability. So if you're depending on the IoT project you're doing or the solution you want to create, that will determine the capabilities you're working with. All right, that will determine the capabilities. So here, this is also this is a telemetry type, but then it's a state. Okay, it's also a state, and then the semantic value is also a string because. And then let's look at the cooling system. So we can do let's add here. So it can be on. The cooling system can be on. All right, and then let's add a few state. The cooling system can be off. All right, and then the cooling system can be in a state, can be in a failed state. All right, so failed. So if the cooling system fails, so we're just trying to get some info into it. Okay, now let's look for, now let's add, so to speak, we so if we go back just to track the state we've added. All right, we have the temperature of the content, right? We have the state of the content, we have the cooling system state, and I think we need to add the state of the track itself. All right, is it ready? Is it en route? Is it delivering? Is it returning? Is it loading the track itself? All right, so let's go ahead and add another capability down here, and this time we're going to call this the the track state. All right, let's see if I can make this a bit big. If you can't see it big enough, please let me know so I can update it. So the track state, it is also telemetry and it's also of a schema type of a state. And this time it's also of type string. So let's go ahead and check out a few of this state for it. So, oh, sorry. So let's add it here. So the first one here is ready. So the track can be in what we call a ready state. All right, the track is ready to move. The next one is a track can be route. All right, so we know the state of, is it moving? All right, the track can also be in a state of delivering. All right, so it's gotten there and it's actually delivering. All right, and then it could be it could be returning from a delivery. So we can do returning, and then also it could be loading. All right. So let's do loading, and then the last one could be, it could be dumping. All right, dumping or offloading, whichever makes sense. Yao GH, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope this is helping. So if you're joining us for the next three episodes, we're going to try to go through building this system on Azure IoT Central, and then we'll pick up something else. But if you have any question or any IoT board or device or project you want us to talk about, let me know, and then I'll do so to to help you. All right, on that. Okay. Now, so yeah, we've added that. Now let's add an event, an event telemetry. All right. Events are issues triggered by the device and communicated to the IoT Central app. So events can be like one of this. It can be an error, a warning, or an information. All right. So there could be a warning from a warning event, an error event, or an informational event. Now, one possible event a device might trigger um, is a conflicting command. So an example might be the truck is returning empty from a customer, but receives a command to deliver the content. All right, to another customer. Now, if a conflict occurs, it's a good idea for the device to trigger an event to warn the operator that there's a conflict. You get the point. So these things happen in operations. So let's add another capability, which we've been doing down here. And now we're going to call this capability event, right? So this is just an event. And this time around, is the capability type is a telemetry, but then the schema, uh, uh, the how do you call it? The semantic type is an event. All right. So the semantic type is what determines the type of capability it is. Now, the schema for it is a string. All right. And then, so this one, let's say, severity for this one is, information. Okay. And then let's go ahead. Let's see. So currently this one is just an informational event. Another event we can do is just to acknowledge the record uh, and record the customer ID that the truck, is delivering. So let's see this. So we have the event. So now let's add a location telemetry. Okay, just to know where the vehicle is. So the same thing, I'm going to go here and add another capability. And this time around, we're going to call this location. And this is also telemetry, but the semantic type here is a location, right? And if you look closely, it's of a type what? Geopoint. So we're going to specify geopoint. Welcome, Mr. Amoating, all the way from Twitch. No, this is Periscope. Periscope. Yes, 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 yes. Oh yeah. And there's something that as we're talking about learning, we need to talk about is that if you are in a state where you want to restart, learn something, Microsoft in conjunction, in partnership with LinkedIn and GitHub has started the opportunities at linkedin.com that allows you to learn and upskill, add skills to your talent yourself and be more employable and gain job in these hard times that we have. So if you are interested, go to opportunities.linkedin.com and take some free lessons. Look for ways to prepare for interviews, work on your CVs, and then find jobs that are available on LinkedIn. So check that out. Okay, so we have our geopoint added, and then now we're going to add properties. You remember we mentioned properties, all right? Properties of a device. So a property of a device typically is just a constant value. So the property is a constant value. Let's say a property can be track number or track ID. That is a constant property that is communicated with IoT Central. It could have a setting data point or oh, welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much, Emmanuel. Emmanuel, thank you. Hope this is working. Hope this is informative for you enough. All right, so let's go ahead. So like I mentioned, so an example is in our refrigerated track scenario, a good example of properties like I mentioned, the license plate or the track number or some ID, something that is constant that identifies our track. Now, properties can also be device configuration data. All right. So we're going to define an optimal. We're going to define something called an optimal temperature for the track content. So this is a property, this is like a constant which tells us the track has to be in this particular state on this particular temperature all the time. All right. And then so that if this should change, all right, then we know we can use that to trigger it. All right. So a property is also a single value. All right. Now it can be more complex, but let's deal with a very simple one. So let's go down again, add our capability. And this one we'll just call it track. It's called track ID. And this time it's not a telemetry, it's a property. All right. Don't forget telemetry, property, and command. So this is a property, right? It doesn't have any semantic type. The schema is a string. All right. Where is that? Yep. Here we go. It is not writable, so which means this you can't change this. This is fixed. If you change it to writable, it means it can be updated. We can look at that for the optimal content temperature. We'll make that a writable one. All right. So this doesn't have any units, so that's it. Now let's go ahead and add another property. And this one, we're going to call it optimal temperature. All right. And this is also a property. Doesn't have any semantic type, but the schema is a double. And the unit is Celsius, 3 Celsius. All right. And then writable, do you see that we've turned writable on? Now, because we've turned writable on, it means that we can send optimal configuration. We can update this property. So let's say we can have another service, an AI service that is monitoring the weather and looking at the temperature outside, and then based on the temperature outside, correlating and doing something and say, you know what, the optimal temperature should no longer be, let's say, -5 degrees Celsius. It should now be, let's say, -2 or -6, based on stuff like that. So you want to make this writable, all right? Now, so let's confirm we have all these things set. Now, let's go ahead. We've added telemetry property. The last thing is we need to add a command, all right? So commands are sent by the operator of the IoT Central application to the remote device. To command now, commands are similar to writable properties, but here the commands can contain any number of input fields. Okay, whereas writable property is just limited to a single value. All right, so the commands are just like, oh, we are passing a command with information to the device, and the device can know how to recalibrate. All right, cool. So for this refrigerator track, there are two commands we should add. Now, a command to deliver the contents to the customer, and a command to recall the how do you call it, the track back to base. All right. So let's go ahead and add. So again, click on add capabilities down here. You know what? I'm just going to flip this so you can just to take my face off for a while. All right. So here, and this one, we're going to call it go to customer, and here the type is of command, and then the command type, is it a synchronous command or an asynchronous command? All right, something that is just sent and you need to wait for a response from the device, or something that you just sent can send to change stuff. So this time we're going to make it a synchronous command, um, and then we're going to turn the request on. Okay, this is a request we're sending. So when we send the request, um, the display name here would be, let's say, customer ID. So when we say go to customer, we're going to send, it's a request. This command is a request type. So we're going to send a customer ID to, we're going to pass a customer ID to this, all right, and it's of type integer. So let's change this here. Now it doesn't have any unit. Then let's enter a new command. So now the new one is, this is going to be recall. We're recalling the car, the truck. So let's say recall. So this is of a type command. and then this time is also synchronous. All right. So this time it is not a request. Okay. So or it's like there are no additional parameters for the command, so we can just leave the request off. So now let's see. This is what we have. We have the customer ID, which is of integer, and we have this. I think this looks fine now. This looks good. So now once we have this at the top here, let me make this big. We go up at the top here and click save. All right. Now this allows it to store all the capabilities and things we've added. Now, before going further, we need to double check that our interface has has been published, all right? And there are very limited editing options, so it's important to get this right before we move on. Now, if we click on the name of a device template in the menu that ends with views, we can then see like the summary of that capability. So let's go ahead. I'm going to bring this here. So we've saved this. Okay, so we need to look at this carefully. So we have all the capabilities here just to ensure that, because once you publish the capabilities, it's hard to make changes to them, right? So let's make sure everything is right. Okay. Yeah, so there we go. All right. So let's click save. We've done that already, making sure that everything is okay. So if we go to, so like we have interface, let's look at the views. Just making sure that we have, so as you can see, there you go. You can see the interfaces. So we have content, date, cooling. We have all this information. That is cool. All right. All right. And then, so now after you've done this, we now need to publish this template. All right. So we've not done any changes. We are okay with the device template. So we're going to go ahead and click publish. All right. So I'm publishing, and you can see publishing this device template once you finish building template and you are ready to create a real simulated device. If you have connected devices, publish the device template will push the latest changes to those devices. So that's one of the good things about IoT Central. So device template interface, customized cloud properties. We don't have any views, so we are okay with this. All right, there we go. So just publish. So this actually can take some time whilst it's publishing. But the good thing is that it once this is done, it creates a template. So now you can just reuse this template for subsequent tracks. So if there's a new track you're onboarding, you just have to connect the track, onto the platform, and then boom, the template is downloaded. It sets the tracks up, and then you are good to go. So I think are we? Yeah, we have a couple of minutes. So let's see how, before we call it a day for today's episode, let's see how we can create a very simple um, um, dashboard, and then we can call it a day, and maybe subsequently we'll see how to add, other stuff to it. But now we're just waiting for the template to be created. All right. Okay. Whilst that's happening, if you have any questions, please let me know. Um, if you have, any specific questions or any specific IoT related stuff, let me know. I'll try as much as possible to answer them for you. All right. So let's see. We have like we can do like about another 10 minutes to create a dashboard for what we've done. So ideally, let's see. This is happening in the background, so should be. Let's see. This is being created. Yeah. So yeah. Well, whilst that's happening, let's go to views. All right. So view. This is where we can visualize. All right. The telemetry or capabilities we've created. But I think because our interface is still okay. So yeah. So this is published. Awesome. All right. So let's go to views, and then let's go to visualize the device. So here you can edit device and cloud data, or you can generate a default view. We don't want to do that. We want to visualize the device, right? So when we visualize the device, we should now see a list of the telemetry property and command we created, each with a checkbox there, all right? So as you can see, content state, content temperature, cooling state, event location, track, and then the properties we have optimal temperature. We don't have any cloud properties, then we have commands, you know. So as you can see, these are all the data points we created, all right? So um, there's also a list of cloud properties and tiles, which we can ignore for now because we've not used that. This is like the custom tiles and then where's the cloud properties here? We didn't create any of those, so we'll go for that. Now we can give the view a name, all right? Uh, let's see. Let's see, where is that? Let's look for location. Okay. So now so what happens is that anytime you select this thing, you're configuring kind of like an embedded Power BI endpoint. So let's do this. Let's go ahead to location, select this, and then you can see down here, you can have add tile. So when I add this, check this out. This creates a location tile and adds it here. Okay. So the dashboard is made up of tiles. So things you add to it are called like tiles. Okay. So right now I've added the location tile. And the reason we're choosing location tile is the first is that we will expand it from this size and then we can drag. So here, for instance, if I let me go out a bit. Sorry, you might not see this properly, but I can go out and then from the bottom here, let's say drag it because I'm trying to create a dashboard at this point. Okay, so I can do something like this. All right, and then maybe bring this down a bit. Yep. So now this is showing my location. You remember we collected location, which is a geo point. So when we simulate this or configure preview, like we save or like simulate this, you're going to see different data points or geo points coming in. All right. Now, now before we add more tiles to the view, let's change the view name and let's just call this track view. So here, you can just go track view. Let me make this so it's at the top left here. That's where the track view is. All right. Now let's go ahead and add the rest of the tiles. Okay. So let's add tiles for each one. So I'm just going to zoom this out a bit. So let's come down here, and then let's say what are we going to now? Let's just for now we just want to that's what to confirm our telemetry. So there's no need to add the command. So let's just go ahead. Let's do. Oh yeah. Then let's come here. Content state, content temperature. So all I'm doing is selecting the various things and adding. So I have what is this cooling system state. So we're not going to add any events. We're not going to add the track state. No, let's add the track state. All right. Yep, we have the track state here. So what I can do is I can bring this down. Okay, well I can leave it there. That's fine. It will mean that I'll have to probably increase this. If I want to bring this down, I have to increase it, but that's fine. So I have the track state. Let me add the track ID. Yep. Yeah. Yep. And then let's take a look at the optimal. Yep. There we go. You know what? Let me bring this somewhere here. Somewhere here. So I can. Yep. I can extend this, and then I can bring the track state under it here. Then we can move this one here. Yeah. So I mean, just let's reset this. Cool. So as you can see, I have created. This is going to be, you might not see this over. So yeah, so what I have done here is that I've created like a dashboard. All right. Let's do this. Let's bring this a bit here. Okay. And let's bring here. so that we can actually see this. Oh, awesome. Or better still, I can just put it here and bring all of it under this side. Great, awesome. Yeah, so you can see properly. Yeah, so here we go. So we've created this. Now, once you're satisfied with this, you can go ahead and click save. All right. So we're saving this report. All right. Once you save it, and then we can click publish. Okay. And then the thing is that we can create as many views as we want. So this is one view. So I can go ahead and create another view. All right. I can go ahead to view and create another view if I want to. All right. So here, let's just go to the track view. So you can create as many views as you want in your app, to use in your application. So that's good. Now, so here we go. So interesting enough, oh yeah, it's 9. So this is how to create an app, create a template, and then create a report or a view. All right. Now, so next, what we are going to do in next episode is we're going to see how we can actually add um, a real device. Let's see how long is this, so that if this is not long, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. Okay. Now let's go ahead and add a real device. Okay. And by real device, we mean that now we've created a template, we've created a view or a report. Now we're going to onboard a vehicle or a refrigerated truck. How do we do this? So in the real world, you have a refrigerated truck with all the sensors and everything on it. All right. You have all the sensors and everything on it. So now you want to onboard it. All right. So let's do this. All right. So we've saved this, we've published, we're good to go. So what we need to do now, I'm going to zoom in so you can see this properly, is that on the left side, okay, uh, go to devices. All right. And by real device, I mean that IoT Central understands that this remote app is running. And the app can be a real device, can be like can be taking input from a real sensor, running a simulation and all. But in this case, we're going to use a simulation. All right. So if we go to devices, all right, these are the templates. This is a device template. Um, we click on the what? Refrigerated track. This is the template that we're going to add the device for. All right. So we're going to click on new at the top here, and then verify that we need to make sure that the template is refrigerated logic refrigerated track. That's the template we're using, and then the device name. Yeah, we can give it any name we want to. So in this case, we can say Logic Refrigerated Track 1 or any name we want to give to our tracks, or this is a device. And then this, creates a random device ID. All right. This creates a very random device ID. Now, so well, we can change the name if we want to. This creates it for us. But you know what? Let's go ahead and I want to change this and make it 1 just for my easy tracking. Now, Mm, 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 mm. So let's see. Are we simulating this device? Um, I'll leave it at no for now because we are going to be building a real track here. Okay. So a simulated real track settings. So setting this value to yes is telling IoT Central to pump out random values for our telemetry. All right. So these random values can be useful in validating a device template. Now, so if we just wanted to test it, we can say that you know what, this is a simulated one, and then IoT Central will just be automatically put data in there. Let's see. Let's see. Uh, okay, so let's go ahead. Let's see. So what we can do is that I can let's do this. Let me call this device logic. mm, 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 mm. Let's call this um simulated. All right. So let's say Related logic track. All right. And then I'll make this simulated, right? Because so the reason why I'm doing this is that I want to show you that it can simulate the data. So let's click on create. And then we'll come back and create another one. That will be the row, and then we'll go through that process. Okay. So this is simulated. So if we came back, clicked on this, see this. So let's zoom out so you can see this. So it's going to take a bit. It's waiting for data, but because we are simulating it, so we're waiting. We're just going to wait a while for it. So what's going to happen is that this is going to generate, Iot Central is going to generate some random data to show us information from this particular this simulated one. All right. And if there's any command, I can pass the command and stuff to it. All right. So once we're waiting for that, let's go back to device. And again, let's select this and let's add a new device. So this time, let's say this is 2, but ideally, this is the logic track 1. Let's just say real logic, or let's just make this the same thing, right? Let's make this 2, and this is not simulated. Okay. Pa, 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 pa. Okay. So let's click on create here. So you see that this is not simulated. Let's go back and see if this data has been pushed in there by yep. Yeah, it's taking a while, but the data should come in. Okay, so when we select this one, which is also not simulated, this is also say waiting for data. This is actually waiting for the data to come. If you go to the command here, you see this. Let me zoom here. So if you go to the command, customer ID, so here we can put the customer ID and click run, and that command will be sent to our device. And then here, recall, we can just do this here as well, right? Awesome. So now, so if we click on the command, let's see. Yep, we have the track view. Then we have all the 2 commands ready, right? So now, to add a real device, the next thing will be to create you need to create connection keys. All right. So the connection keys are what? So for instance, if this was like a vehicle or let's say a pi or something, the connection keys are what I'm going to use to onboard the actual vehicle onto the platform. All right. So let's go ahead. You can see from the top right here, you can see connect. All right. And we're not connecting to any gateway. All right. So let's do connect. So device connection. As you can see, this information pops up. All right. So let's copy a couple of things we need to copy: the ID scope, the device ID, and then the primary key. All right. So let's see. Don't worry, I'm going to delete this so you don't have to worry about. These are secrets that you don't have to share. So yeah, I'm going to copy this. So ID scope. And then device ID. And then the primary key. I'll copy this and we can close this. Yep. So I've just saved those 3. What I've done is I've saved those 3 records. So we're going to use, I'm now going to leave the connect method and the connection method as shared access signature. I mean, if you go there, you can see that the connection method is still a shared access signature, right? SAS. So you're using a token do that. If you're not familiar with Azure, this is a very common thing in sharing that. Okay, so let's go ahead. Okay, so let's leave this here as it is. Okay, so we can see this. I just want to make sure you can see the content here. Okay, All right, and then we're going to continue from here. All right, so with this, I think we're far stretched for time. So when we come back next week, I am going to continue from here. Um, so if you have any questions, if you have any proposal in terms of solutions or projects you want to see me run on the show, please make sure you use any of my social media handles down there, Esadrani on all of them, to connect to me. And don't forget to please subscribe here, hit the subscribe button, and then hit the bell so that if I release any new video, you're going to see it. Until then, this has been yours truly, Samuel Adjani, for another episode of the IoT Tuesday. Stick and stay with me. Don't forget, we're coming back on Friday with Demystified Tech. We're talking about building applications using the Microsoft Graph SDK and then the Teams platform. Until then, stay safe. COVID is real. Learn something. Make use of all the opportunities you have. Share the information and build a better world. Have a nice evening.